Wardarina. She is the co-chair for Asia Pacific Regional CSO Engagement Mechanisms, to give us the initial input and a few thoughts on how to strengthen this interplay between global and regional processes. This Asia mechanism is already very well developed. I believe we have a very good speaker to tell us about that. Rina, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Katarina, and also good morning to all. As Katarina mentioned, I'm the co-chair of the Asia Pacific Regional CSO Engagement Mechanism and also part of the Women Major Group. I'm just telling you all, I'm wearing pink scarf today for the Women's Major Group Daily Color Campaign. Today is the pink for our call to fight inequalities, where opportunity should be not governed by structural discrimination. And then I hope that the member states in the room can also support our call and let us know if you want to have a pink scarf at the end and join our color campaign. Well, I actually want to say that I'm totally in agreement with the previous speakers whom really show and then highlight the need to apply the principle of equity, discuss on systemic issue for sustainable development, and then the need to strengthen accountability and interlinkages. For us, I'm going to tell you a story first. For us in Asia Pacific CSO, when we start engaging with this process of sustainable development, we are actually really clear on what we want. We are actually really clear that we want to show that the current, what we call patriarchal, globalized, militarized model of development is actually not working, and to show that it is possible, if we want to and have the political will, to have a people-centered development that addressing the inequalities of wealth, power, and resources between countries, between rich and poor, and between men and women and other social groups. So these reasons is actually the one that drive us to engage very actively in the Asia-Pacific region, even long before the adoption of the 2030 Agenda in 2015. We are claiming the space, we are paving our way, we want to be part of the discussion, we are initiating, owning, and driving our Asia-Pacific Regional CSO Engagement Mechanism. It is a platform of the CSO engagement mechanism in Asia and Pacific that is structured, really structured, to ensure the voices of the grassroots organizations and people's movement able to be part of the agenda. We are in collaboration with ASCAP to facilitate the CSO engagement in Asia Pacific Forum and Sustainable Development. And then we want to ensure actually with our platform that the discussion in sustainable development discourse really based on the realities on the ground. We want to actually ensure that when we are talking about policy recommendation and then the agenda, we will have the communities that actually really have the realities on the ground to tell the story and tell the systemic barriers and why certain goals will not be able to achieve. And now, how much has the region actually managed to contribute to the implementation of the 2030 Agenda? I want to go to the region part now. We know that, and then what was promised to us before, the high-level political forums actually provides a clear mandate to the region and the UN regional bodies to play a significant role in designing, implementation, and follow-up review of the agenda itself. In fact, the Agenda 2030 includes the term regional 33 times. I know because I counted it. But it has been really, actually, what we assess, this has been more difficult to put into practice. So although the member state acknowledged that regional and sub-regional framework can facilitate effective translation of sustainable development policies into concrete action at the national level, so that's one mandate. The high-level political forum also mandates regional cooperation and dialogue, specifically through the regional fora convened under the HLPF. So in Asia Pacific, we have APWLD, we also have the Africa Regional Forum, and we have the Forum for Countries of Latin America and the Caribbean of Sustainable Development, and etc. We also know that member states actually committed to follow and review mechanism at the regional level in 4 separate paragraphs in Agenda 2030. And yet, I think in the further discussion, some states appear to be backtracking on that commitment. So, having engaged with the regional process for 4 years, it is clear for us Asia Pacific CSO engage in RSM, that a regional process has much offer in many ways. One, it is strengthening mutual accountability. Two, assess shared learning. Three, to identify regional priority issues and systemic barriers to achieve sustainable development. Four, to explore innovative solutions based on regional cooperation, for example, in garnering means of implementation. And five, scaling up national best practice. And six, which is very, very also important for us in terms of stakeholder engagement, it creates proximity, accessibility, and relevance for the local and grassroots communities, for the one that you don't want to leave behind, to actually engage with regional discussion and work closely with their governments at the national level and so on. So this is the one why we believe that regional process have really high potential to chart out concrete ways to progressively implement SDG. And then we are not looking into only our region. We have some example from other regions. For instance, Latin America and Caribbean set a very good example how regional dialogue can lead to progressive policy setting when LAC countries adopted the first binding regional agreement to protect the rights of access to information, public participation, and access to justice in environmental matters, which is the Escazú Agreement. And then also we know that they're also doing the Montevideo strategies that develop concrete action points for women's human rights and gender equality in the context of the SDG by 2030. And then this process is actually initiated by government, civil society organization, and UN system body with clear accountability framework. In Asia Pacific, we also have that kind of example about the regional roadmap for the implementation of the 2030 agenda and etc. So we actually want to give a very, very concrete recommendation for this. We felt that for this, that the regional priority, identifying regional priority issues and current systemic challenges is very important in the regional level, and then that is actually the place.
Rina, may I kindly ask you to come to the end slide?
Yes,
okay.
yes. Sorry for that. And then also, I just want to, maybe we can have a discussion later, but the more thing important is actually the role of regional fora. I think that it could be better defined in follow-up and review process. More sessions of the HLPF could include and integrate more of the regional perspective and the feedback at the regional forum, because now we see that we only have like one session from the regional commission, not like two in the HLPF. We found a very weak linkages between sub-regional, regional, global process and outcomes of the SDGs.
Rina, I'm sorry,
Yes.
I have to remind you of time.
Yes, okay, I'm concluding, Katarina. So I'm going to end with that. We hope that we can have a more discussion on this, and then the one last one is actually the need to actually ensuring the participation of stakeholders in the regional follow-up mechanism, which is very important to ensure that you don't leave anyone behind. Thank you.